How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is the post-episode 16 live stream. How is everybody doing out there tonight? Just getting a couple last-minute things all set up. Let's see. Why is this not working? There we go. Ha ha ha. Now we're talking. Oh, wait, maybe. Okay, there we go. Sorry, we got everything wanting me to do updates, and everything's messing up and freaking out, and I haven't had any time today. Holy smokes, it has been a busy day. Let's see. Jody, how's it going, bud? Glad to see you're able to join us tonight. You know what? It has been a long day. Just a really long day. I'll get more into it here in a minute. Let's see. Hillbilly Farmer, how's it going? Glad to see you're able to join us. Let's see. And Dust Bunny, how's it going? How are you doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, now that things are finally starting to settle down, I can already start to feel the weight coming off my shoulders and just starting to relax and take a deep breath and kind of soak it all in. Let's see. Let's see. Evening, everybody. Hey there, Hillbilly Farmer. Everybody's weekend. All right, so we're just going to wait 1 or 2 more minutes until we can get everybody in and settled in. Like I said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. Start of the weekend so far. We're about to midway point now. Actually, past midway point. And that just makes me a little sad. But that's okay. That's okay, because there's always another weekend. Let's see. Hillbilly Farmer, doing good but sleepy. I'll hang on as long as I can, but 3 a.m. comes early. 3 a.m.? What do you got going on at 3 a.m.? That does come early. That's only in a few more hours. Plan on Alma, Missouri. Nice. Very nice. I absolutely love that map. Doing good? Awesome. Yeah, Alma, Missouri, that's definitely one of my most recent top favorite maps. It's definitely up there. Like I was saying before, it reminds me of every little small town that I've ever passed through that I grew up in. I mean, that's ultimately what it does. It reminds me of my town that I grew up in. And the town I grew up in had, I think, at the time, maybe 1,000 people in it. Maybe 1,500. It wasn't a big town. It was very small. And, I mean, just driving through the town on Alma just reminds me so much of it. You throw in a lake by Main Street there, and you've got my town. We're almost to a T. Let's see. Dust Bunny, I agree, Hillbilly Farmer. I get up at 3 a.m. Oof. Let's see. I live on the West Coast. Yes. So you still got what is it like? We're on the East Coast here, so that's what, another 3-hour buffer. So it's about 6:30 your time, I think. So yeah, I mean, even still, 3 o'clock comes pretty quick. Yeah, 6:30. Okay, yeah. Ooh, growing some pumpkins, nice. I tell you what, that's also what I like about Celebuki is that Celebuki puts in a lot of unique things onto their maps. You've got the ketchup plant, you've got the oh goodness, what are some of the other ones? The pizza shop, and just all those kind of things that Celebuki kind of throws in there. It's very similar to like a Zero Ito, where there's just all these little tweaks and things that are just really special and unique to one of their maps. Let's see. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the potato harvester here and get that up and running. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so today has been one busy day. So my wife and I, we decided early, or it was late yesterday, that we were going to wake up in the morning, start cleaning the house, and kind of get things a little picked up around here. And, ooh, you know what? Probably be a good idea if I checked where this is going, hey? Let's see. 31. Where is 31? Oh, it's over there. Okay. So we started right away. We woke up, I don't know, maybe about 7:30, 8 o'clock, give or take. And we started cleaning up right away. Vacuuming, washing, rinsing, just the whole 9 yards. And after everything's all said and done, we're like, okay, well, now we're going to go out shopping, and we're going to, take our daughter, and um, we're going to go to like Goodwill, Ross, Marshalls, things like that, because my wife and I decided that we were going to be the Flintstones for Halloween this year, and my daughter was going to be Pebbles. So I'm gonna get the what is it? Not leopard print or whatever the kind of suit that Fred wears, um, and my wife's gonna get the little uh, cocktail dress looking thing, and my daughter's gonna get the little white dress with the little bone hair tie and the whole 9 yards. And we just thought it would be really, really super cute. Well, as we are heading out, and we're going about, I don't know, maybe 30 to about 35 minutes away from us, and all of a sudden we get a phone call from our brother-in-law. Turns out that he was out riding his bike this morning, and he had a bad accident. Not a motorcycle or anything, like a bicycle. But it's one of the street versions where you get some pretty good speed going. I guess he was riding with a group of people, and I guess he calls them weavers, where they kind of dart in and out, back and forth, for no real good reason. Well, I guess they got caught up in each other, and he went over head over heels, and he ended up, what was it? He fractured. Was it fractured or just broke? I think he broke his collarbone and two ribs. So yeah, he's hurting. He's smarting pretty good. And then let's see, let's lower that, fire that up. There we go. So yeah, as soon as he called and said, hey, I need help, need you to come out to the hospital and all that stuff. Need to start figuring out some things. He's got a dog he can't take care of now. So he's like, can you watch my dog? Can you do X, Y, and Z? So we ended up calling my wife's sister, who was his ex, and they're still close and whatnot. They have a couple of kids together, and she ended up meeting him at the hospital to help him out. And then we ended up going. I had to go out to his house, pick up a friend of his that he was riding with at the time, and then take him from his house all the way down about, I don't know, maybe about an hour's drive away from me. And yeah, it was a long trip. So it was just one of those kind of days where you imagine it's going to start and turn out one way, and it's completely different from what you originally had planned. But at the end of the day, he's sore, he's beaten up and bruised, but thankfully he's okay. And it's just one of those that we can just be thankful about that at least. But I tell you what, bicycle riding, especially like the like street version, where you can actually get up to speed pretty quick. And this is actually his second wreck, and the first time he ended up hurting himself really bad. He got a concussion and the whole 9 yards. And thankfully, the EMS said that if he wasn't wearing his helmet the first time, he probably would have been dead, because that's how hard he smacked his head on the ground. Is just completely smacked, knocked him out, and he was out for a little while. Like I said, it was a pretty bad concussion and all that. So yeah, it's just, thankfully everything's fine and whatnot. But now we've got an extra dog. Actually, if you start hearing some snoring in the latter stages of the stream here, no, it's not me. It's Lucy is her name. And she reminds me of the dog from the Target commercials, or from the Little Rascals. That same kind of breed, without the little bullseye thing on her face. But she is definitely a cute dog. But if you, like I said, if you start hearing some snoring in the background, it's her. It's certainly not me. Let's see. Let's get. I think that should be enough. Okay, so let's catch up with the chat and see what everyone's saying. Hillbilly Farmers says she's living on the West Coast in California. It's only 6:35. We got there. Uh, Jody's growing pumpkins. Uh, I like the town of Alma on the map, but the fields are just so big. Yes, yes. So it is a very, very large map, and it's one of those that if you don't necessarily want to use like big equipment or things like that, and want to dedicate hours to one task, then it's not going to be the map for everyone. So it's one of those like the reason I like it so much is because of the town, and the town to me is just so iconic that it just, as soon as I saw it, immediately made me think of home and where I grew up. And it's one of those where when it triggered so many memories, from back when I was a child, that it was just like, wow. I remember my town, hanging up the United States flags all around Main Street there, around the lake. And it was just one of those, like, as soon as I saw that, it just lining the street corners and whatnot, I was like, yeah, that's something that my town would have done, has done, kind of thing. And yeah, it triggered so many memories, and that's was so cool to kind of have that feeling. I never thought that I would really kind of experience that playing Farming Simulator. I mean, there's certain maps that are like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's I could see how it kind of could exist or could be a real place. Obviously we've got places like Griffin, Indiana, where it's based off of real life location and things like that. But it's one of those where I've never been to places like Griffin, Indiana, so its kind of layout and all that is very unique, um, very special to it, kind of thing. But when I was hopping on Alma, that's like, I've been to that town. I've been through that place. So that's just kind of what kind of hit home for me. Let's see. Jody, that would be adorable. Yes, I so last year for Halloween, my daughter, she dressed up as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. My wife was Sigourney Weaver's character in Ghostbusters, and I dressed up as Peter Venkman. So it was one of those that was just, it's really a lot of fun to kind of do these little family dress ups and whatnot, and just kind of walk around the neighborhood and just have a good time, kind of thing. Not really care too much about the kind of real world kind of you know trials and tribulations that may be going on, kind of thing. Just kind of get to zone out. And she was way too young. I mean, she was only one at that time. I mean, she would have been less than one last year. So she didn't know what was going on. She just knew that she was in a little puffy outfit, and mommy and daddy were not looking like mommy and daddy, kind of thing, or at least a version of mommy and daddy that she's used to seeing. So it's going to be fun to kind of to dress up again and see how she reacts to it, because now she's almost two. She actually starts to kind of pick up on these things. Um, and it's one of those things. So for those who are not, well, I don't know why you would know this, but I've got a pretty decent sized beard and whatnot. So my daughter, I just got a haircut maybe about a week ago, and it was getting pretty thick, pretty long. I was looking pretty homeless for a little while there, and if I was finally getting to the point, my wife's like, "Please, for the love of Pete, just go and get a haircut, please." I'm like, okay, I'll go get a haircut. So finally got some time, went and got a haircut, and I came home, and my daughter, she didn't recognize me right away because I had taken it down to, I think it was like a 3 a level 3, to where my beard was maybe, I don't know, 2.5 months old at that point. So it was pretty thick, pretty long, and it was just a wild reaction to to see. And it reminded me of those videos where the fathers will have the big old bushy mountain man beard, and they'll be playing peekaboo or something under a towel, and then they'll kind of walk away from the kid and go and shave in the other room. And then all of a sudden they put the towel back over their head to play peekaboo one more time, and then the kid goes to pick back up right where they left off, and all of a sudden the kid like sees naked face dad kind of thing, and they start losing it. I've been thinking about doing something like that to my daughter, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Do I want to potentially traumatize her or something like that? I don't know. It's one of those that it'd probably be cute, but I don't know if I'd want to see that kind of reaction from her. I don't know. Just one of those that, oh, you know what? Let's turn that down because I'm using way more product than I have to. But no, it's just one of those that I think it'd be funny, but at the same time, it's like, it might not be. It might just be mean. Why? There we go. Let's see. Dust Bunny T-Jet. Oh, that's a bull terrier. Yes, yes, bull terrier. So yeah, that's what she is. Uh, and she's one of the coolest dogs you'd ever see. Lucy, she she is like just all personality, all, and just the sweetest dog. Like when my daughter was, I want to say probably when she was about 1 years old, we watched her for about a week, maybe yeah, about a week, and actually no, it had been less than one because she wasn't even walking at that point. She was just kind of scooting and crawling around. Well, Lucy was laying on the ground, and my daughter went crawling over to her, and my wife and I are like hovering over because we don't know how she's going to react to her. And my daughter, she just climbs right on top of her, and Lucy doesn't even budge an inch. She just sits there, and she's like, "Okay, this is a thing now." I've got the furless puppy just kind of walking all over me, and she wasn't doing nothing to hurt her or anything like that. We would have put a quick end to that if she was doing something to hurt her, but it was just, she couldn't give two rips about it. She was just laying there, and she was happy. I mean, she was just kind of thrilled that that she was getting some kind of attention, and that's all she wants, is she just wants loves, and she is just a big old cuddler. If I didn't have kind of this little barrier set up right now, so the couch that I have that I'm recording on right now it's like a twin kind of reclining seat, like an entertainment sofa kind of thing, and she's laying on the other chair. I'm in where my normal spot is, and I've got this little barrier set up, and if that barrier was not in place, she would be in my lap. Like, not just in my lap, but just like all over me. It's actually really, really cute. Let's see, hook that up. Let's see. Hey, Quick Street, how's it going? What's your mini map mod? My mini map mod. I'm sorry, Quick Street. I don't know what you're referring to. Are you talking about the map in the bottom left-hand corner? Let's see, Jody. You got a lot of contracts to do. So I've got a few here. So you can see I've got 6 right now, and 3 of the remaining ones are just harvesting. It looks like corn, and corn. But I've got one that's potato, and that's going to take the longest, obviously, because potatoes are potatoes. But yeah, it's just one of those that we got a few to do, and if we're able to kind of churn through them in the amount of time that we've got allotted for tonight, then I might just skip forward to the next day and kind of go from there. But I think there's actually stuff that could potentially be done around the vineyard. I have to plow and do stuff like that, and I think the map maker in the last update actually fixed the vineyards. I got to do some testing before I kind of move on and, you know, kind of take the steps I did last time that broke the game. For those who follow the series, I ended up starting this series out where I harvested the grapes and did everything that was necessary. And typically, what you do after that is you mulch and you roll and you do all sorts of stuff that you normally do for fields, plowing, mulching, so on and so forth. Well, when I did all those, it actually destroyed the grapes and just completely destroyed the vines. Well, the map maker, as far as I'm aware, has fixed that. So I want to do some testing because we are so far into the Let's Play series now. We're on episode 16. We're going on to 17 after this. If something were to break at the vineyard, I don't know if I would be able to continue on from there. I mean, outside of like just carrying on with just the normal farming aspect, like my main farm. So it's just one of those. I want to do some testing and make sure that it's going to work the way I expect it to, rather than just kind of go at it and hope the best. Especially when I know that there's so many bugs and stuff on this particular map. And it was funny, I was actually at the end of the last episode. I was kind of cleaning up and doing a few things before I had actually done anything for the stream here tonight. Just getting all the equipment back to the farm and all that. And I had noticed that not just one or two, but all of my sheep were in that field just kind of hanging out together. Just hanging out, chilling, having a good time. And yeah, it was just wild. And when I got back to the farm, they were still there. They were at the farm, but it's like the sheep barn is almost duplicating the sheep in both in the farmyard there, but they're also duplicating them in the field. So it's just one of those kind of weird. It's just weird. That's the best way I can put it. It's just not something that I expected to happen. I've never experienced it on any other map. This is the first one where I've really experienced this level of kind of breakage and glitching. Let's see, we'll get that going. Let's see. Let's do. Dust Bunny, my suggestion to please do not do that to your daughter. No. Yeah, no. It's one of those that I was thinking about it kind of thing, but it's just one of those that at the end of the day, like, when I first saw that, the whole shaving the beard and surprising your kid kind of thing, it was before I was a father kind of thing. And it's like, oh, that's funny. But now that I'm a father and I'm actually like get the full breadth and scope of what it is to be a parent, to be a father, and to not just think of myself and like pre-father Dave was, a more selfish version of myself. To where I found that kind of stuff funny or comical. And to a point, it is funny. But now, post-father Dave sees that, and it's like, okay, it's funny, but it's one of those, taking the emotions of the kid involved and all that stuff. It's like, not really worth it kind of thing. So, and it seems like something that would be, like, if it was it'd be one thing if we lived in an era where, like, back when I was growing up, before the internet was a thing and whatnot, where people were doing like home videos and they were going to show it to themselves and to some close personal friends. Maybe that's one thing. But now that we live in the days of social media and things like that, it's one of those where I think people are doing things that are crazier and crazier and crazier and to an extent more harmful than we ever have done, to chase that clout that you get from these social media platforms kind of thing, to discover their viral moment, as as would be said. So it's just one of those, I just don't find it would necessarily be be worth it. It might be funny at the moment, but I don't know how that would affect her long term, kind of thing. So at the end of the day, probably not going to happen. Let's see. Let's get this over to. We'll get this over here. There it is. Nice. Let's see. Let's see. You should never laugh at someone else's. Yes, I agree with that. I agree. You know. And Quick Street say, yo, yep. Curious how to see what fertilize, etc. from the mini. Oh, so okay. So I think you're referring to the. Um, Precision farming. That's it. Yeah, I think that's what you're referring to, is to be able to see the different states and textures. That's part of the precision farming. Let's see. Dust Bunny says, Quick Street. Sims, I don't think you can use the mini map for that unless you have precision farming. Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm just a few steps behind. It's only precision farming. Thanks, Quick Street. That's my next map to learn part of the game. So I was saying this, it was either the last stream or the stream before. I did not care for precision farming at first, but the more time I've spent using it and the more time I've kind of gotten to know it, the more that I really like it. And the reason that I like it so much is that I feel that it makes tools such as the manure spreaders, the slurry tanks, things like that, the sprayers, it actually makes them like an integral part of the game. So what I mean by that is, in the base game, you could theoretically get by everything with a plow, a seeder, and a fertilizer spreader, and you're done. And a rock picker. Those kind of 4 items that I mentioned, you can get from start to finish and not have to worry about anything else. You don't have to weed. You don't have to, even if you have weeding turned on, you don't have to do it, and without a yield deficit. So let me explain. So what you can do is have a plow. We like the plow that I have here is a perfect plow and a perfect example of what I'm talking about. The 6-9 meter. Why am I not seeing the plow? Oh, there it is. Yeah, this one here, the 6MT and the 9MT. You plow up your field, okay, and you get stones and the whole 9 yards. You get your stone picker, you rip out all the stones, and you're good to go from there. Oh, hey, probably be good if I don't go cutting through somebody's field. After you do your stone picking, you can then take your lime spreader, fertilizer spreader, go lime the field. Once you lime the field, you can then, no, I'm sorry, first you fertilize. Oh, hey, there's a little bit of, there we go. You fertilize first, then you lime, then you fertilize again. Once you do all those things, you then don't have to do anything else. What is, come on, there we go. No, come on, you can do it. There we go. Now we got the sweet spot. But you do those 4 things, and you can do rolling and stuff like that too to be able to get the highest yield after you seed, kind of thing. But you don't have to have those equipment, and the only reason that you do it is if you want that kind of sense of realism, that sense of, okay, I want to add these things in, but it's a just because kind of factor kind of thing. To where in precision farming, you actually can get extra points and stuff for your environmental score if you use those sets of equipment, if you do certain steps that require the use of the slurry tanks, the manure spreaders, things like that. So and you can't use plowing every single time because you want the least amount of tillage possible, which means you are going to get weeds. Weeds are unavoidable in precision farming. And you can also buy a sprayer, which again, you don't necessarily have to have a sprayer in the base game. You can kind of fidget your way around it, kind of thing. So at the end of the day, it to me makes those bits of equipment that wouldn't be necessary more important to the gameplay, kind of thing. Let's see. Dust Bunny, if you want to see what you've fertilized and you are not using Precision Farm, you can use a regular PD and check the filters. Yes, that is true. That's a normal way to see it. Dust Bunny, Big Daddy, I'm not sure, but I think the front piece of that track, the little hearts, and the front piece of that trailer lays down so you don't hit the... Ooh, does it now? Let's... Oops. Ooh, hey, look there. You learn something new every day. Thank you, Dust Bunny. I appreciate that. That helps out a ton. Now, hopefully, hopefully I can get under that little bit without hitting anything anymore. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Now, let's see where... Ooh, we done here? Looks like we're done. Yes, we are. Boop, boop. There we go. Now let's start harvesting some corn. Which one's this one? This is... Ooh, that's 62. That's way up there. Whoops. That's the only bad thing about doing precision farming and contract work is now that I've done something with fertilizing, all the filters are going to stay on for the fertilizing states, and it's not going to be kind of it's not going to reset until, you know, some kind of different state comes up. Like if I go through and start to harvest, then if I start to harvest, then it'll change into the harvesting colors and all that. There we go. Let's do that. Get the Deutzfahr. Ooh, the Warrior. I think that is probably one of the nicest looking tractors in real life is the Deutzfahr Warrior. That black on black is just really slick, in my opinion. I think it's a close tie between, or not a close tie. I think it's a close between the Deutzfahr here and the Lamborghini, the white Lamborghini that like Jeremy Clarkson has in Clarkson's Farm. I think those, like both of those, are really, really sharp. But in my opinion, that the white tractor, the white Lamborghini, is less practical. And what I mean by that, it's practical. I shouldn't say it like that, but it's less. Like it almost looks like it's too pretty to work with, kind of thing. Did I just? Oh no, it's still going. Cool. I thought I got too close and turned off the worker. Let's see. So I need to go. Okay. So I need to go buy the new production that I just bought. So I am really looking forward to using that new production, the compost and fertilizer production. That should be actually chugging away right now, if I'm not mistaken. So in the background, I added water to that particular production, so we should be getting compost at the moment. Why? There it is. Scrolling down, I'm starting to drift. And okay, yeah, 142 liters of organic compost. Nice. That's awesome. Get this over here. Yeah, like I said, I just think that's a sharp looking tractor, the Warrior, and it's just a really cool name. Like for a tractor, for any kind of piece of machinery, the Warrior, love it. Just love it. Let's see, so... Oh yeah, it's still chugging along. Nice. turn here. Let's see. So, Dust Bunny, you're welcome, sir. I really do appreciate that. I really hope that that's the case. That because I can't tell you the number of times where I knew that the trailer did that. I just never thought to do it. But I can't tell you the number of times I do some kind of contract, and all of a sudden I just smack into the back of the, the unloading pipe or something like that. Did you know that you can remove the heart at the bottom? Oh, really? Of the chat window if you want. There's a setting in your live chat. There is. Ooh. Now we're gonna go looking for stuff. But not right now. We're we'll look for that. Ooh, hey. Probably help if I turn. Hey, there we go. Oh, it's because. Okay. No. Stop it. Too many things going on. Let's see. Dust Bunny, Deutschfire Warrior is the bomb. Yes. I think it's one of the nicest looking tractors out there. Like I said, that and the Lamborghini, and just because Lamborghini. I mean, what a name. You think of like the Lamborghini Gallardo and the Diablo, and just you think of the cars that they've made over the years, and then they translate that over to a tractor. Yeah, that's. And what's funny is that's exactly why Jeremy Clarkson picked the Lamborghini when he bought it. It's just, or at least that's the sense that I get. It's like, it's a Lamborghini. Why wouldn't I buy it? It's a Lamborghini. Let's see. These are interesting field shapes. Yes. So this map is the Hills of Tuscany, and they definitely have a uniqueness to them. There's some that are squares, some that are kind of, kind of all over the place. But it's definitely keeps the harvesting and just the work that you do on the fields just that interesting. And I think that's also, we were talking earlier about Alma, and Jody was talking about how they're working on it, and that's, what is that? Oh, okay, I know what that is. Sorry, one of my neighbors just fired up their truck, and I wear headphones so as to not hear a bunch of stuff in the background and get distracted. And occasionally, if the noise is loud enough, I'll be able to hear it. And unfortunately, that's one of those that I can hear it. Unfortunately, too, is where I record. It's in my, we call it the man cave, and it's because we've got a whole bunch of sports memorabilia on the wall. But it's essentially a second living room in the house. But I would love to be able to put up some soundproofing or some sound dampening material to be able to prevent reverb and things like that into the mic, which I don't think is necessarily an issue where I'm recording. I don't think there's a lot of reverb in this particular portion of the house. Well, mainly because there's not any walls that are close by to my voice to bounce off of. But it's one of those that I'd like to, in my next house, if I have a room or something and the room is smaller, kind of thing, be able to make it a little bit more professional recording and kind of things like that. So we'll see how all that kind of goes, but that's tomorrow Dave's problem, not today's. Let's see. Lambo started off as a tractor company. Yes, they did. If I remember correctly, it was when they were a tractor company and the original makers started the actual car. Was it the Diablo, or I think it was the Diablo. It was inspired by the bull. That was the whole point of the company, was the bull, and the kind of start in the farming world. But the pillars on the door, not the pillars, the door wings, when they opened up, they had horns, kind of little hooks that went up in the air and was supposed to, when the doors were open, look like the horns of a bull kind of thing. So it was kind of the whole lineage of the tractor itself, or not just the farming kind of aspect of it itself was kind of built into the cake. Uh, let's see, Dust Bunny. I think it has something to do with the conversation reactions. Yes, I will. I'll have to check that out after the stream, because yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna want to remove from the chat window, just because it, whenever people putting a chat that's long enough, that little heart thing at the bottom like covers up a portion of the chat, so it makes it, I have to sit there and kind of scroll back and forth right now. But it's not been something where I've had to like invest a whole ton of time and try and figure out things. But you know what? No, I better do two headlands, because we got these trees that are right on top, and I'm afraid if I don't do two passes, it'll make the worker kind of, you know, not be happy. Let's see. Lamborghini Trattori was first made in 1948, and it had to discarded war materials. Whoa, hey, there's a tree there. Don't read and drive at the same time. If you learn anything from me in this channel, don't read and drive. That's that should go without saying. Oh, hey, I don't think I realized that there was trees in the middle of the field here. Discarded war materials to make. Okay, okay. The heart setting might need to be turned off on live streams. Okay. Hey, Jake, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day so far. How's that little baby of yours doing? Let's see. Hey there, Dust Money. Both are doing well. Oh, I missed one. Hello, Jake. How's the wife and little Grace? Both are doing well. Awesome. Oops. Hey, I'm stuck. That's a thing. Let's see. How are you? Doing okay, sir. Thanks for asking. How about yourself? Staying busy working on your maps. Oh, by the way, Dust Bunny, how's the building going? Hopefully, you're able to make some progress on that. I was just thinking about that today. Actually, my wife was asking about you, and I was kind of giving her the kind of update of last we heard and whatnot. And you know, she like me was like, oh well, hopefully everything's going well. Hopefully she's able to get the contractors and all that stuff. So, oh yeah, okay. Here, moment of truth. Let's see. Keep our fingers crossed. Ooh, looky there! Oh, I love it. It's just this little things in life, the little victories that you get in life. I just gotta revel in them. And this is one of those little victories. Thank you, Dust Bunny, for pointing this out to us. That was so much easier. Oh, hey, and I'm in the way. AI worker C is blocked by an object. So, funny story. I was so on my Facebook page, I follow certain farming simulator content, and one of them. Ooh. Well, really. I thought I pulled far enough away. I guess not. But I follow for certain Farming Simulator content. One of them is the Farming Simulator 22 console content, and at least I think it was on that page. And what they had posted is a tractor that was in the middle of a pond, just like almost fully submerged. You could barely see the top of the cabin, and somebody had wrote in the caption, "Worker C." What was it? Worker C or Worker J experienced an issue or something along those lines. It was one of those generic farming simulator messages, but it was a legitimate photo of a tractor just in the middle of a pond. It was just, I saw that and I got a chuckle. Right here. There we go. So let's go ahead and empty out this harvester. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Let's see. Let's catch up with the chat. Let's see. Dust Bunny. We hit snafu on the build regarding permits, etc. Not. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Dust Bunny. That stinks. Map is going. Lost everything. Lost everything did today when GE. Oh no, that's. Does GE not do a backup? Not automatically. Oof. Oh man, that stinks. That is the absolute worst when you like. I've mentioned this a few times. I work on computers and doing a lot of spreadsheets and database work and things like reports writing, the whole 9 yards. And there is nothing worse, absolutely nothing, than making a ton of progress on something and then all of a sudden, boom, something happens, your system crashes or the network goes down or whatever, then all of a sudden you just lose everything. All the progress that you made. I cannot tell you the number of times where I've gotten so far into a project and then all of a sudden just the system dies. And it's without warning. So it's gotten to the point where I'm just sitting there and every couple minutes, save, like get one line of code done, save, next line of code done, save. And it's like, it's just so frustrating because then like I always feel like I'm like on high alert. Like my blood pressure is already like through the roof because I'm working on something that has a deadline or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that one more thing is like, oh man, I got to remember to save. Oh man, I made a big change. I got to save it. And it's like, it's always good practices to just sit there and just make sure that you're saving on a regular basis. But it's one of those, like, it just, there's already enough stress. Why is there got to be one more? Kind of thing. It's like, why are you doing this to me? Let's see. Mr. Jake, that's not good. You would think that a program that's so important would have some sort of auto backup. Yes, you would think that. But it's one of those things too that auto backup isn't all that's cracked up to be either. So again, personal example from work. We use a lot of Excel, lots and lots of Excel, and Excel by default. I know you can turn it off, but it just auto saves, especially because we're on a company network and all that stuff. The anything you save to the company network, it just auto saves a file. But there's times where I'll just go in there and just want to make a small change just to see what it looks like or how it affects the data, kind of thing. And then I realize, oh no, because the auto save, it saves everything I did. You know, if I don't remember to uncheck that auto save after I've opened the file, I cannot tell you the number of times I've just made a tweak or made something and then I close it down and I realize after closing down, it's like, oh no, it saved that change. So I have to go back in there and remember how it was before I made the change and replace that in there. There's advantages and disadvantages to everything. Doesn't matter. Like, and personally, I'd rather it make the changes, especially when it's a new build. I wish there was a thing where if it's a brand new build, autosave. But if it's an established build, if it's something that has already like been saved and you're just opening it again, kind of thing, no autosave, unless I tell it autosave. That's that. If there's any programmers in the audience, that's the next. That's the next $1 million idea. I'm not into that kind of programming. Let's see. Quick Street says, well, back to work, going to have you on the side monitor for some background visuals. Well, hey, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a good night at work. And if we don't hear from you again, then I hope you have yourself a good night, and we'll talk to you again. And then let's see, Sims DPNM. Don't know what that means. Oops, Mr. Quickstreet. Sims, don't forget to leave a like, sir. Well, I greatly appreciate that. That's funny. Let's see, like that. Thank you, sir. Big Daddy, don't forget to take a drink. Yes, stay hydrated. It's actually a rarity, but I had gone out so much today. As I mentioned earlier, I was out and about all day today. From about, I don't know, maybe about 10 o'clock until I think I finally got home around 5, when everything was all said and done, after I'd dropped off my he's not technically my brother-in-law, but we call him brother-in-law because he's the father of our 2 nieces and all that. And he was never married to my sister-in-law or anything like that, but just we've always just called him our brother, kind of thing. It's just he is family, kind of thing. And unfortunately, it didn't work out between him and my sister-in-law. But it was one of those that he'll always be, my niece and my niece's father, and he will always be family, kind of thing. And yeah, after I got done driving his buddy back to his house, and ended up having to stop off and pick up his dog and do all that stuff, it was like 5:30, and then after I had gotten home, my wife was like, oh, well, how about we take our daughter to the park? And a part of me cried for a split second. It's like, oh, I just got home. I want to relax. But as a parent, any parent knows this, you don't get to relax. Relaxing's over. In a good way. In a good way. I don't mean that to sound like I'm complaining or anything. Certainly not the case. Yeah, I'd certainly give up all my relaxing time just to see that little girl smile. And oh my goodness, take her to the park. She always gets the biggest smile, especially when we go on the swings. I don't know what it is, but I'm convinced that if she had it her way, we would go to the park just for her to swing the entire time that we're there. That, or our particular park, it has a little splash pad there right at the park. So we were going to go there for the splash pad, but when we got there, it was so windy and the sun was setting just enough to where we were worried it might be a little bit too cool for her, because it's not like the water's heated or anything. So between the wind and then the setting sun, we better not risk it, kind of thing. So we didn't change her into her little swimsuit or anything like that, and we just let her run around and play. And the first thing she does when we go to this particular park, and really any park, is if she sees swings, she goes running right for them. That's the very first thing she does. And yeah, I'm convinced that she would stay on the swings the entire time. If we didn't, like, okay, well, let's go run, let's go play, let's jump, slide, do all this other things. And yeah, thankfully, once you kind of point her in the right direction, say, hey, look, slide, she'll be like, ooh, and she'll just kind of trot off to do that. But that's the first thing she goes to every single time, is either the splash pad or the swings. And oftentimes it's the splash pad because it's the first thing you come up to. But if we tell her, oh no, sweetie, we're not going to the splash pad today, she'll kind of be like, get a little sour about it. But then you're like, ooh, swings, and then she'll go booking it for the swings as fast as her little legs will carry her too. Let's see. Oh, so sorry, I trailed off there. So as I was running around and doing all this stuff, I had stopped at the gas station this morning. I had to stop because there was not enough gas to get my brother-in-law's friend uh, to his house where they were. It was over an hour away, and we had maybe less than a quarter of a tank of gas. So I had stopped to get some energy drinks because I had basically ran out of the house this morning, after cleaning up the house and doing all that. Ran out without any drinks or anything like that. So I decided, you know what, I'll get a couple of energy drinks and, just kind of stay energetic and all that stuff because I knew it was going to be, I didn't know it was going to be a big day as big as it was, but I knew there was still going to be shopping. There was still going to be, running around, keeping up with the kid, doing all that stuff. And it turned out that, a much bigger day than what I had originally planned. But, I had gotten energy drinks, and I've actually got one, right here. So, yes, I am drinking it. I am staying as hydrated as the energy drink will allow me. And then beside the energy drink, I also have the big old, I don't know what they call it, if it's like a growler. It's a big 64-ounce jug of water. But it's one of those, you get them at Walmart. It's TAL, T-A-L, like insulated metal vessels. But yeah, I typically will drink from that, like, the whole day, and yeah, gotta stay hydrated. But yeah, let's go check it. Oh, it's almost there. Okay. That's the only thing about fields like this that are slightly annoying, is when there's something planted in the middle. Like in this case, there's trees in the middle of this field. So I'm gonna have to come back either way and do this side. Ooh, I see something. It is. Look at that. Look what I found. Nice. How many collectibles have I found so far? Oh, I can't tell in multiplayer. That's right. That's a thing. I'll have to go into single player and see. That's okay. I cannot believe. Oh. Dust Bunny, I am incredibly grateful that you told me about the little flapper thing in the front of the trailer. I am so incredibly thankful for that. But in about 2 seconds, the span of 2 seconds, you made me feel so silly, so dumb. Oh goodness. It's one of those, I have no idea. Like, I knew the trailer did that, but I had no idea why I didn't think of it. And it's a constant thing. Like, I cannot tell you the number of times I would sit there and just bash my way into the machine before I'd actually think, maybe I ought to put that little flapper down. That little door that's specifically designed for exactly what you think it's designed for. Gotta love it. Just gotta love it. Anywho, let's see how things are looking. We got 60%. Okay, well, nope, wrong. Okay, yeah, 27. Bam. Okay, where's 27? Okay, nice. Fire this up. There we go. So Jake, out of curiosity, the map that you're creating, up until this point, I haven't looked at your channel recently to see if there's any like progress that you've recorded about it. But how far, like percentage-wise, how far would you say that you are in the completion of said map, and how long do you think it will take before like you make your first submittal to Giants for review? You know, just a spitball kind of rough guess kind of thing. I'm just curious because when I was talking to Silver Eagle a few weeks ago, he had mentioned how it took over a year for him to be able to from start to finish um, their map. Was it Split Mountain Ranch? Was that the map name? I may be misremembering the name, but the map title that they came up with, um, it took them over a year, and that's with the updates and all that stuff. So I'm curious in how long, like, how long have you been working on it? How far do you estimate that you are on it? Okay, next turn. Let's see. About 5% getting buildings in place and roads down. Okay, okay. And about how long have you worked on it so far? Like, how many hours would you say that you're into it to get to that 5%? Because I remember the video that I saw when you were at the what was it, the animal dealer. Like it looked, you know, basically the terrain and stuff were kind of put in place, or at least for the most part, that's what it looked like. So I'm just, like I said, one of those. I know nothing about the map building world or the mods building or anything like that. So it's from a place of sheer ignorance that I ask these questions, kind of like the way I am. So again, we're going to do a couple of headlands around to kind of build up some space, especially around the road network. I don't know why this map does this, and it might be, you know, specific to this map. It might be all maps. I'm not sure. Might be even something to do with like the traffic splines, that the way that the worker interacts with the traffic splines. But I noticed that you need a very large buffer between you and the roads on this map, and I'm not exactly sure why, because other maps that I've played on, especially like the Valley of the Old Farm, that one didn't seem to have that issue. It would stop the traffic, and like the worker being hired would stop traffic with a far enough buffer that it wouldn't degrade the integrity of its ability to do the job in the field, kind of thing. So I'm not sure if that's, you know, because of how the traffic splines are, how the AI worker recognizes the fields, or anything like that. I just don't know. Just don't know how any of that kind of stuff works. Let's see. I recently restarted with a fresh DEM for the terrain, about 15 hours so far. Okay, so that seems relatively in the, well, I shouldn't say relatively in the beginning stage. That seems, you know, if it took Silver Eagle a year worth of, you know, infrequent work, because they also explained that they have a full-time job, so it was something they kind of did in the background, kind of things when they had time to do it, kind of like what I do with YouTube. You know, I do the recordings and the live streams, you know, after my daughter goes to bed, after it's kind of my time, kind of thing. So that's hence the reason why the streams start so late, kind of thing. But yeah, so it took them over a year to get to that point, to get it finished and fully updated and all that. So yeah, it still seems like it's the pretty initial stages. I wonder, that side's pretty wide open. Where are those trees? Maybe? Oh, yep, see? It's because I'm right up against that road right there that the AI worker just doesn't like to kind of pick up from this point. I don't know why. I just don't know why. I mean, it is what it is. It's not a huge deal. And I'm sorry again, Jake. I'm completely ignorant of the whole map making word. world. Fresh DEM. What does that mean? Yeah, see, I think if I do one more pass in this direction, and then I set the worker off in that direction, I should be able to kind of let them go. Like, I shouldn't have to babysit them beyond this point. I might be able to just get the end of here, turn to the right, and then... Yeah, I think that'll work. What do y'all think? I'm going to give it a try. Let's set the worker off, and then I can get the other equipment unloaded, because I'm sure... Unfortunately, I haven't been paying attention to the messages. Let's see. And... Alright. Fingers crossed. Hopefully they'll work. Let's see. So the worker's got to be down here. Oh, there he is. That John Deere green, it's hiding on me. Right behind the trees. Wow, that was a blast from the past that just came through my head. Any country music fans out there? John Deere Green by Joe Diffie just came blasting into my head. After saying John Deere Green, that's just boom. I haven't heard that song in years. Alright, so that's unloading. Let's see, so we're at 75% there. So that's cool. This trailer holds, what, 4 full unloads from that machine? Let's see. Real World Terrain from NASA. Oh, gotcha. Big Green Tractor by Jason Aldean. Yes, that's a good song too. Take a ride on my big green tractor. That's a good song. Again, not one I've heard in a while. Let's see. Nope. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I need to check. So, for those who are following the series, you all know that I've gotten the harvesting done here at the vineyard. Ooh. Okay, well, this is... Oh, that's right. I'm not on... Let's see. Alright, so 10,000 liters of grapes, 7,000 of white. But, yeah, you're aware that we harvested the grapes over here. What is that? Where did you come from? Okay. So I was saying earlier how I need to start testing this to see if I'm going to run into issues by mulching and plowing and doing all the stuff here so I can get the best possible yield out of these grapes. Because, I mean, even though I did get a pretty good increase in grapes, I think the last harvest that I did from last year in game, I think I had about 7,000 liters of red grapes. And this go around, I had over 11,000. White grapes, I think I had maybe 4, and had almost 8,000 this year. So it was a pretty significant difference, if I remember right. And I don't have the greatest of memories, and it's one of those I could certainly be wrong. But it's if I could get the ground states to function properly and not, delete the grapes and all that stuff, well, then I could get, what is it, like, I think it's 5 or 10% for just the ground state. Oh, what did you do? It'd probably be a good idea if I brought this over to the field, huh? This is what I was meant to do, is come over here and grab this, but then I kind of trailed off and did my own thing. That's what it was. I got distracted with talking about the grapes. But, yeah, I mean, if I could get that kind of fixed up and functioning properly, well, then I could potentially get another 10% yield, give or take. And if I could get that, then I mean, that could be a pretty decent bump compared to what I got this year. So here's hoping. I had some preliminary testing where, if I remember right, I tried mulching, but I used a set of equipment that wasn't like standard. It was modified from one of the vineyard packs, and it wasn't working properly. And I just didn't have a lot of time to really kind of dedicate to. I was just kind of getting in, getting out kind of thing, and it didn't look good. It wasn't mulching the ground like I anticipated to. But I might have been trying it out of order. I don't know. It's one of those that I'll do a more thorough test, possibly tomorrow. And then once that kind of either pans out or it doesn't, then we'll kind of go from there and figure things out. And as I mentioned in the last live stream too, keep on the lookout for my next video. Not one that you traditionally see. I'm in the midst of working on a new top 10 map tour, or not map tour, but new top 10 maps of my favorite maps. And I believe I was discussing it with Jody and Hillbilly Farmer the last live stream that we were in, where I'm going to do top 10 like I mentioned, but I'm eliminating the maps that made the last list, and I feel like doing that will create additional space for maps that wouldn't necessarily break into that top 10, but at the same time will allow, because the last top 10 I did was back in April. So imagine all the different maps have released since April. And there's quite a few. There's quite a few maps, and yeah, that list, there'd be quite a different list even if I had the original 10 in the contention kind of thing. So keep on a lookout for that. I'm in the midst of kind of summarizing my thoughts, and I've got the 10 maps, or 10 maps all listed out, how the order that I want to put them in and whatnot. I'm just kind of trying to put pen to paper as to why I feel that they're in the position that they're in my opinion, kind of thing. So if that's a video that y'all would be interested in seeing, keep on the lookout for it, because it's not too much farther. Well, and I think Lucy has started her rabbit chasing. She's over here just flailing about in her dreams. Very, very soon you might start hearing snoring, so I might have to give her a gentle nudge if she gets going too loud. I tell you what, she'll wake me up out of a sleep. Because all the dogs, when we go to bed at night, they'll be in the room with us, and she'll sit there and curl up on my side of the bed right underneath where I am. And there's been a couple of nights where she'll get going so loud where all of a sudden I'll have to like reach down and just kind of give her a little shake. It's like, okay, you're waking up the whole household kind of thing. And unfortunately, I'm no better. I'm no better. If I get into certain positions when I sleep, it's like a herd of chainsaws is probably the best way I could describe it. It gets bad. It gets really, really bad. my poor wife. I feel bad for her, because there will be times where she wakes me up in the middle of the night. She's like, "You're snoring. Please stop." I tell you what, Bless the women who love us men, because they put up with a lot, especially my wife. Anywho, oh, let's go in 84%. We can go ahead and unload them. We're at 77%. Where is this going? That's a thing. Wait, what? What? Okay. Am I losing my mind? There's supposed to be contracts here. I'm working on contracts. What is going on here? I'm so confused. I don't know what to do about this. It's literally not showing me any of the contracts. I don't know where to take this stuff. I can see there on the map that I've got 3 separate sell points I have to hit, but I don't know what to do. I don't know which sell point I'm supposed to take what to. So wait a minute. What is this sell point here? The forge sell point. So that's likely the potatoes. Forge sell point, because I don't think it takes corn. It doesn't. Okay, so the potatoes are going to the forge sell point there at the animal dealer. The other 2 are going to... What is that one? What is that at the farm? The farm supply... Okay. So one of them's going there and the other's going here to 0km. Has anybody ever seen this before? I've never experienced... Like, there are so many glitches that happens on this map. I've never had this one happen before. Like, this is a new one by me. So my best guess is this field is going to the farm, and the other one down at 27 is going to 0km. That's going to be my best guess. But even if I take all this stuff to the sell points, I can't complete the contracts. Oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do? I can't complete contracts. Like, I've never had this happen before. Oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. Ha ha ha. I am so smart. I am so smart. SMRT. If you understand that reference, please shout it out. Please, because that's again, another blast from the past. Now that I actually know what contracts what. Wait, what is this one? What one am I coming from? This is, whoops, 62. So 62 is going where? Oh, see, I had it backwards. I had it backwards. So 62 is going to 0km, while 27, that's going to the farm. Ooh, I'm glad I figured that out. That could have been really bad. I mean, not the worst thing, because I eventually would have figured out, oh, hey, I'm selling it, or it's going into. Wait, where am I going with this one? Oh, this is going to zero. Okay. Oh man, this is going way far away. Oh well. Let's see. What is? I'm trying to think the best course. You know, I'll probably end up going right at this next intersection, go down south towards the shop, and then that road by 50. Whoa, there's a tree. Again, it's one of those where I let my driving serve as the pinnacle of what not to do in real life. Don't read and drive. Don't don't sit there and stare at the map and drive. Like don't do those things. If you don't do those things, then you'll get to where you're going safely. KJ Wiggums, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day so far. Oh man, I tell you what, KJ, let me give you another thank you. I know it's several months too late, and I sincerely apologize for that. Um, so it's only here recently where I realized that there's a separate section in the comments on the YouTube studios where you can sort by uh, comments that didn't actually post, like they're being held for review, and then like where you're actually mentioned is a whole nother subsection in the comments. Had no idea about that. So when I saw that you had posted that thing about checking out the channel, I greatly appreciate that. That I really do mean that, and I sincerely apologize for it going so long without an acknowledgement of some sort. But thank you again so much for that. I greatly appreciate that. And for those of you out there, give KJ a follow. Give him some love as well. He was very generous and kind enough for giving me a shout out on his channel. So let me return the favor and do the same. Let's see. That's no problem, man. Glad to do it. Hey, you know what? It's one of those that um, you certainly didn't have to, and I greatly appreciate you doing it, kind of thing. So, what is going on outside? Oh, sorry. As I mentioned earlier, I have headphones on, and occasionally I'll hear things that kind of catch my eye, and it sounds like the neighbor kids are getting ready to leave. Ay, ay, ay. I apologize if that's coming through on the audio. Like I said, I'd love to be able to soundproof this room, but it's too large to do like adequate soundproofing. I'd probably spend thousands in just doing that. And the hardest part of the soundproofing would be the windows, because there's in the front of my house where I do my recording, there's a big front window up there, and that's probably the biggest and most sound what's the word I'm looking for, the hardest to soundproof, because obviously my wife's not going to let me get away with just putting up a bunch of sound batting in front of the window. I had a hard enough time selling her. Well, actually no, I didn't. Actually, it was kind of her idea to put up all the sports memorabilia up in this room. Yeah, it was. I think it was her idea to do that. What is going on here? Oh, apparently they decided to go the other way. Okay, okay, we'll go with that. Just again, like we mentioned in the last couple of streams, time for Dave to do what he does best and nod and smile. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, because is it this field? I want to see if the sheep are out there. No? See, this is what I'm talking about. This map has some weird oddities to it, and it's never consistent. It's never the same. It seems like it just cycles through whatever thing is broken at any given time. Like I mentioned, at the end of the last episode, off camera, I ended up coming over to check out. Or I was doing some work to clean up and stuff, and it was like the entire herd was out in the middle of that field. So I don't know what's going on. Dust Bunny says they make room darkening blinds. I wonder if they make some sort of sound muffling. You know what? That's not a bad idea. You'd think there's got to be something to deal with sound. Ooh. Looks like, oh, don't hit me. There we go. You'd think there'd be something. And really, even with the room darkening blinds, they tend to be so thick that they help with noise as well. I mean, not to like an amazing degree, but it helps. That's actually not a bad idea. I wonder if something like that exists. I'll have to take a look. But again, if it's a few $100s or whatever, because like I said, the windows take up the entire room. Like the whole one side of the wall is nothing but window, and if it's going to be like hundreds of dollars and whatnot, it's going to be hard to sell for my wife, just because we want to move. We want to get out of this neighborhood and out to somewhere else. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we can eventually get there. Let's see. So let's... Oh, yeah, looks like they're ready to be unloaded. So, I mean, for the most part, it looks like the worker's doing a halfway decent job. They're getting all the edging and... I may have spoke too soon. Alright, let's see where this gets us. Should get up to 100%. Let's see. KJ Wiggum says, thanks, Hillbilly. Oh, whoa, hey, easy. What are you doing to me? Why? Why would you do... You... You're welcome, sir. Glad to help. Yes, thank you, Hillbilly, Farmer. Let's see. Like I said, anybody who's interested in more Farming Simulator content, go ahead and check out KJ Wiggum. Real good friend of the channel. Really appreciate you, KJ, for giving us that shout out when you did. Like I said, it's long overdue for me to acknowledge it. And I feel really bad. When I saw that and I saw it was from 2 months ago, I felt awful. Where am I going with this? So it was one of those that I knew that as soon as I was going to do the next live stream, I wanted to... it just so happens you were here before I had started talking about it, but that was definitely going to be on the docket for tonight. Was making sure that I gave you that shout out, because yeah, that's the way I see it. If somebody's gonna show me that kind of kindness and whatnot and give me a shout out on their channel, at the bare minimum I can do the same. But we're taking this to the forage, and then I think we gotta check the contract with the New Holland, because that's probably done by now. You know, and that's something else that's really weird about this map too, is I'm looking at fields with like weeds and stuff kind of built into it, and again, it might be just the way the weeding system works or something, but at this point, I'm just chalking things up to this map kind of thing until proven otherwise. But I'm seeing like big square blocks just missing in some of the fields where weeds are growing, and it's nothing but weeds except for this one large square block. It's yeah, it's really weird. Let's see. They do make soundproof curtains on Amazon. Okay, and they're not expensive. Okay, okay, I'll have to check that out. Ooh, now I'm really excited. Dust Bunny, you have been so helpful tonight. I greatly appreciate you. I really do. And over these past few weeks, when you weren't able to come onto the stream, your presence was definitely missed. So thank you very, very much. And you know what? Seeing that I'm giving shout outs and thanking everybody, let me do it a little bit more by shouting out the channel members. All the tier 2 channel members here for BDD Gaming, starting with Mark K. Mark, thank you so much for being a tier 2. I greatly appreciate you. And Deku71, thank you for being a tier 2 member. And thank all the members and all the tier 2s. Which one is it? Oh, it's the one on the left. Okay. Thank you all so very, very much for being channel members. And if you're interested in helping support the channel, please check out the join button on the main channel page, where you can sign up to be a channel member. You can either be a tier 1 or tier 2. Prices do vary. Tier 1s are... that's the right button combination. Tier 1s are starting at 99 cents, and Tier 2 are $4.99 a month, and you get such perks such as custom emojis, custom badges. You get early access to edited content, aka the shorts and the don't tell me, because now for some reason my mind is blanking. Let's plays, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for. And tier 2s, they get the exclusive member shoutouts on every live stream. So again, thank you so much for being members of the channel, being, and just thank everybody, for being supporters of the channel, big or small, it doesn't matter. Anybody who's here right now, thank you all so much for coming out, hanging out, and just having a great time. Like I said, today was kind of a, I'm not going to say it was a rough day, but it was certainly, a bit heavier than most. So getting on here and being able to just kind of relax and have fun, and like I said, as soon as the stream started, I could feel the weight come off my shoulders and just instantly started getting into a much better mood. So one of those that I greatly appreciate every single one of you out there. I really, really genuinely do. Let's see, and Dust Bunny, the heart and smiley face. Like I said, Dust Bunny, we missed you around here. We really did. And there's certainly others that would love to see back in the crowd and hanging out with us again. Hopefully we'll be able to see them again here real soon, and we'll kind of go from here. Let's see. So, wait, am I going the right field? Yes, I am. Okay. It's funny how your brain kind of compartmentalizes, and like when I'm sitting here and I'm talking, like I know that I have to go somewhere, I have to do things kind of thing, but it's one of those where I was just kind of driving and was basically on autopilot kind of thing, to where I'm driving and I know that I have to go in this rough direction, but I'm not really paying attention as to where I'm going. and making sure that I'm going either the most optimal way or whatever. It's just it's funny in how your body and mind can kind of work independently of each other. It's just again one of those cool things where when you think about the mind and the body and whatnot, it's such an amazing collection of just like different processes and different things that all come together to make the human uh, mind, consciousness, whatever. So it's very interesting to kind of think about. Whoa. Okay, so that's kind of a thing that's going on. Let's go ahead and just kind of, seeing as we're here, we might as well just clean up and make sure this is all done instead of having to come back afterwards. So yeah, it's one of those where how I very often talk about the engineering side of like farming equipment and stuff like that. Then you go into like the human body and just all the different things that it can do, either dependent on one system, independent of another. Just incredible. There's occasional times where I'll watch like educational programming and stuff like that, and specifically like on the human body, what certain things do and all this stuff. And it's just the amount of systems that are in place to make the human body function the way that it does is just incredible. Again, it just you take that same kind of mindset with engineering and machinery. You take this harvester for instance. You've got the intake of the header here, goes up the main belly of it. It sorts and everything out, and then spits out everything it doesn't, and it keeps everything that it does. But all the different systems and mechanisms that are in place, it's one of those where it's just incredible on all those different things. And then to kind of take it up to the next level, the human body is kind of the pinnacle. Let's see, Dust Bunny. Big Daddy, have you heard from Crimea River lately? I haven't seen her last couple of streams. I'll be honest with you, Dust Bunny, I haven't. I haven't heard anything from Crimea River in quite some time. I haven't seen. Whoa, hey, there's a lip right there. Haven't seen any comments from her. Haven't seen anything from her lately. If anybody out there has heard from her, please just let us know that she's out there and that she's okay. Um, one of those that definitely want to make sure that everything's okay with her. So let's see. Let's pull out of the way here. Right there. Perfect. Oh, there we go. But yeah, no, like I said, it's been maybe about 8 or 9 days since I've seen or heard anything from Crimea River. So, like I said, I really hope that everything's okay, that everything's going okay for her. Um, like I said, if anybody, happens to see her or whatnot, just let us know here so we at least know that everything's okay. Let's see. So we're gonna empty out the rest of this. That should be good. You know what? That might need to be delivered. 3,000. Yeah, that's gonna be close. Yeah, let's go ahead and just deliver it. Let's just get it out of the way. This is the one that's going to the farm, isn't it? What field are we on? 2027? Yeah. Yeah, this one's going to the farm. Yep. Where am I? Oof. Oh yeah, this is another one that's a little ways away. So let's go ahead and get this over there. So to go back to what I was saying earlier, does anybody know what I was referring to with the "I am so smart" reference? I didn't see anybody shout it out, so for those who are a fan of old school, The Simpsons, one of the earlier seasons of The Simpsons, where Homer is basically he's proud of himself about getting something right, and he's going, "I am so smart, I am so smart, SMRT," and then realizing that he misspells it after saying how smart he is. He's like, "Oh, SMART," and then he spells it right. So one of my favorite, old school cartoons. Uh, Definitely not a fan of the more recent and really pretty much past season. I don't know, 10 is where I kind of lost. I think it was one of those I just kind of grew out of The Simpsons, and that's kind of the phase where I kind of grew out of it. But I mean, it's the longest running television show for a reason. Let's see, Dust Bunny. I'll keep my eyes open and see if I find. Oh, hey, there's a car in front of me. Again, don't do what I do when driving. Just don't do that. And see if I can find her other content creators' vids. Yes, please do. And like I said, let us know if you do see her. Just let us know that she's out there and that everything's okay. But it's actually funny talking about The Simpsons. So I don't know if anybody else. Oh, there's the turn I was looking for the farm. I don't know if anybody else out there is a fan of anime, basically Japanese cartoons. But I just found one here recently that I actually really enjoy. It's called Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm a big fan of the paranormal. Like I like the Paranormal Activity movies. I like the Conjuring series. Things like that. Scary movies, ghosts. Creatures, things like that. I'm a fan. I like those kind of things. And this particular anime is about, for those who don't know, is about a young boy. He's late teens, like high school age, and he's just kind of naturally gifted and better at physical activities than most other people, and he ends up stumbling into this world of the kind of supernatural, and they call the spirits that they run across, like we would in the West would know them as like demons and things like that, but in the show they call them curses. And they're basically these demons, and all they're motivated to do, these demons, is to destroy humans. That's all they want to do, is just to destroy humans. That's the only motivating force that they have, kind of thing. And he stumbles into this world unknowingly because he comes across this cursed object that houses one of these extremely powerful curses. And the binding on this curse is starting to get old and weak and whatnot, and it's starting to have the adverse effect, because what the binding is supposed to do is prevent other curses from seeking it out. It basically makes it invisible to other curses. And eventually what happens is that the binding, because it's so weak, that it then starts to attract the other curses to it, that um, makes it want to then ingest that curse, and then it is imbued with the powers of that curse, and makes the curse that imbibes it stronger and more powerful. Well, this kid just so happens to stumble across it, and as he stumbles across it, uh, becomes a part of this world that he had no idea existed. And once that happens, he basically makes a choice of getting more involved on the kind of protection side of things to prevent these demons from being able to harm, humans. And it's a very, very good show. I really enjoy it so far from what I've seen. I've made it through maybe 7 or 8 episodes, but I need to put the stream on hold for just 1 second. I'll be right back with everyone. Okay, so sorry about that. My wife has words are hard. My wife says hello and good night to everybody on stream tonight. Let's see. I just saw something pop up. MGL, good afternoon, Dave and crew. Sunday afternoon here. MGL, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a good day so far. Were you able to prevent the missus from getting upset at you and finish the dunny door? Because you had started to say how she was getting either getting upset or was wanting to make sure you were going to get the task done. Let's see. Wait a minute. Oh, I am heading in the right direction. Okay, cool. What happened here? Oh, it looks like the worker just decided to sign out for the day. Let's see. So, good afternoon, MGL. Hello, MGL. You're in Australia, correct? Good night, Mrs. D. Sweet dreams. Yes, Dust Bunny. And yes, all sorted out. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Any time that we can prevent our wives from getting, too upset with us is a good day. Good day for all. Let's see. Let's go ahead and. Oh, hey. I don't know why I thought I left that off. Or, yeah. Let's go unload this on the fly. Let's see, so we're going to go ahead and empty this out, and we're going to hopefully be able to finish off the rest of the contracts. And nope, not fully unloaded. There we go. Let's see. But when you have built your own home, there is always stuff that needs. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's just homes, period. There's always something that needs to be done with a house. I mean, really anything that you own in general, there's always something that either needs to be done, could be done, should be done. It's incredible. It's one of those that nobody ever explained to me just how much work. Like when I was first buying a house, nobody explained to me just how much work was involved when you owned a home. Whoa there. Whoa, easy. What is going on here? There we go. You know, you get air conditioners break, you get water heater, you know, water line breaks, or you know, insert any number of different things that could go wrong, should go wrong, can go wrong, and there you are having to address whatever issue pops up at any given time. I mean, perfect example. Just over the summer, actually, and this is ugh. All right, it's actually two stories. I'll start with this one first. So last summer, and as many of you know, I live in Florida. Summers get a little bit hot around here. If you're not familiar with Florida and how our weather works, summers get pretty hot. And this time last year, no, not this time last year, it was probably in the middle of June or July last year, our air conditioner went out. And what had happened, for those who are not familiar with how an air conditioner works, is essentially it's got coolant that runs through a bunch of copper tubes, and when it runs through a compressor, it is cooled. It cools down all these inner pipings and whatnot, and then you blow air through those pipings, and that's what gives the kind of cooling effect to the home. Well, what ends up happening is that coolant in the lines ended up developing a little hole, and I didn't realize that when that hole developed that that was happening. So the air conditioner all of a sudden just started blowing warm air, kind of thing, and yeah, we were just kind of like, okay. So I turned off everything. You know, when it happened, we got air conditioning tech out here. They started working on, you know, trying to get it assessed. But it's an older air conditioner. It was very, very old, but it was a really big unit. Like, it was a massive, massive unit. It was a I want to say a 3.5 ton unit. And what they ended up doing is they ended up brazing the copper line to see if they could actually, you know, because they were able to find the pinhole, the leak kind of thing. So they ended up brazing the line and put in Freon, but it's unfortunately the old school Freon. So it's super expensive, super expensive. And that's if you can find somebody who actually has it, because here in the States, they don't produce it anymore. And this person that we worked with, they ended up having it, thankfully, and they ended up refilling the lines, and then all of a sudden a major blowout happened, and it ended up taking the entire air conditioner with it. So again, at the time, this was last year, I have a I mean, she would have been maybe 9 months old, 8 months old, give or take at the time. And we call the guy back up and was like, hey, you know, something else happened. We don't know what's going on. It's 90 degrees in the house. Thankfully, my office is a addition outside of the main house kind of thing. It's all attached, but it was built after the rest of the house was. And I had my own air conditioner out there because it's not plumbed to the rest of the main house. Well, we called them back out there. They're like, look, something broke. We don't know what's going on. You know, can you come back out and take a look at it? He's like, oh man, he felt really, really bad, really, really bad. So he ended up like, oh yeah, I'll be right there. You know, he comes right back out, and he's like, oh, you know, I'll do whatever I can to make it run and whatnot, and I won't charge you nothing because I feel bad that, you know, it literally broke within a few hours of him leaving, kind of thing. So he felt like it was his responsibility and whatnot. But unfortunately, this time when it broke big time. It took the entire compressor and everything with it. There was no saving it at this point, so we had to get a whole new unit. And we ended up going about a week, maybe a week and a half without air conditioning. And yeah, like I said, the South with no air conditioning is just the most miserable feeling that any one person can go through. It was just torture. Now, when I lived in Michigan, I went my whole life without air conditioning. You know, our house didn't even have it because in Michigan, maybe 2-3 weeks of the year where you would actually need it, kind of thing, where it's over 80, 85, 90 degrees, maybe. You're talking maybe if you stretched out maybe a month. But down here in the South, I mean, you need it. It's a mandatory kind of thing. So one of those when that blew, you know, we scrambled to try and get a new one. We eventually got a new one, and you know, several $1,000s later, you know. But nice thing is that because of all the new technology and all that stuff, we were able to get a smaller unit for the size of the home we had. It's more efficient, just by itself. But then, you know, because it's a nice new unit, it's far more efficient than what the old unit was, and it's less tonnage, so it's not having to do as much work to cool the same space, and the whole 9 yards. So that ended up working out. Our electrical bill is actually going down as a result, which one of those when the salesman was telling me, "Oh yeah, you know, your more efficient unit will actually save you money in the end." It was one of those I kind of rolled my eyes like, "Oh yeah, sure, mm-hmm." But he was right. This is one where I'll definitely swallow that humble pie and be like, you know what, I was wrong, he was right, you know, and it makes sense that it would be. I just didn't think it would make that big of a difference, kind of thing. So it made a pretty significant difference. But yeah, no, it was that was a nightmare. And then the summer after, so actually no, wait, this would have been no, the winter. It was the winter after that happened. So it was this past winter where my electrical box. So I've got a main electrical box out in my garage, which is detached from the main house, and a separate sub panel in the main house, kind of thing. And the panel out in the garage ended up blowing out everything. Something happened out there where the entire panel just fried, and yeah, they had to come out and replace it. And unfortunately, this house was built back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. I think it was late 70s. And they ended up having, you know, a non I forgot what. Basically, it was a panel that they no longer make because it's no longer considered to be in code, kind of thing. So they couldn't replace the part that was bad. They had to replace the entire panel, kind of thing. And that was like $6,000 down the drain to get that all done. Because I mean, I know basic electrical, I know basic, you know, plumbing, like all the skills that, you know, a homeowner should have. I know that and some, kind of thing. Because I think that as a homeowner and as an adult, you know, you should know those kind of, you know, basics. You should be able to change a tire. You should be able to you change your oil, you know, kind of thing. Like there are certain skills that as an adult you should have, kind of thing. And those kind of like case in point, I got a call from a friend a while back where they had asked, "Hey, can you come out and check out my faucet? I don't know what's going on with it. The water's not coming out." I'm like, "Oh, well, it sounds like you got a plugged aerator." And dead silence on the phone. I had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, well, there's a little thing in all your sinks and whatnot that just adds air to the line, and because if you didn't have it, it would just be a solid jet of water, kind of thing, and it just softens the flow at the tap so that it's not just some powerful stream that's just shooting out into the room, kind of thing. And they're like, okay, well, do you know how to fix it? It's like, well, it depends. It's one of those, what kind of faucet is it? And they're like, and I knew that they lived in a newer built house kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, and I'm describing it. It's like, does it appear to have a kind of a bit at the end where you could potentially unscrew it, kind of thing? They're like, no, it looks kind of flat and whatnot. It's like, okay, well, it, to me sounds like you have a built-in aerator, and what you're going to need is a key for this aerator. Do you have the key? They should have left you one when they built the house, kind of thing. And she was sitting there telling me, no, there's nothing like that I have that I'm aware of. So I'm like, okay, well, go talk to one of your neighbors. Cause she's got a bunch of neighbors that she's friends with. It's like, go talk to one of your neighbors and see if they have one of their keys. Because more than likely, because she lives in a subdivision, more than likely, the parts that they used on your home when they built it, they're using the similar kinds of parts on other homes. So talk to your neighbors and see if they have the key. And just so happens that one of her friends that lived in the same neighborhood, they had a key. So I'm like, okay, that's a start. So I went to go and unscrew the aerator with the key and whatnot, and turns out that it's the wrong size key. I'm like, okay, well, we've got to get a key that fits your sink. Let's take a look on Amazon and see if they have anything like a set kind of thing. So we found a set on Amazon, and we ended up getting it, and unfortunately it didn't have the right set, the right key. But I was able to use one of the keys that was on it and got enough torque onto that particular thing, because I had to basically tip it on its side and just use the teeth and nothing but the teeth on like half of it to be able to get the aerator out. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the part that's broken. We can either use some CLR, soak it in there, and see if we can get it to work. If we can't get it to work, then you'll have to get a new part. But the problem is that we don't know the model of the sink. We don't know, we don't know where we can get the part and what kind of replacement you actually need. It's not written on the aerator, nothing like that. So, you might need to get a new sink. I'll do some research to see if I can figure out the model number, the type of sink it is, and figure out what kind of aerators they use. But more than likely, worst case scenario, you're going to have to get a new sink, kind of thing. And yeah, long story short, I was able to clear out the obstruction with the CLR, so thankfully she didn't have to buy anything. But it's just one of those that, had I not been available to her, she would have had to have hired a plumber, and the plumber probably would have been like, oh yeah, well, it's $300 for a whole new sink, and then they just replace the aerator, kind of thing. So like I said, it's always good to have those kind of basic skills to be able to work on either your own home, or be able to just do those kind of things to where if you can cut out the need of having to call somebody else to do a job that you yourself could do, then build up those skill sets, because in the end it can save you tons and tons of money. I was actually just talking to my brother-in-law's friend, who just so happens to be a plumber, and he was telling me about how he had to snake out somebody's drain, which, I mean, you could rent a snake from a tool rental place for like $30, and it's like 100-foot snake, and he had to snake out this drain, and I guess he had to charge them like $200 when everything was said and done, because they had to go through so much effort to do it. But it was like, yeah, I mean, $30 to rent the snake, or $200 to get somebody out there. And it was, the reason it was so expensive is because it was a weekend call, so they had the golden hours kind of thing. But let me catch up with the chat here real quick. Let's see. Yes, it took me 5 years to build this. Oh wow. It's earth covered home, but it was working most day on regular. Wow, that's incredible. I've never actually seen like an earth covered home. I'd be really curious to see what that looks like. Sort of wheat steep forward steps. Oh, one step forward and two step back. Gotcha, gotcha. Sure, sure. I could see that. This house does not need cooling or heating. You know what? I could totally see that. Like today was 37 degrees Celsius. You're gonna make me. You're gonna make me do math. Like today was 37 degrees outside, but 25 inside. The winter's the same. You know what? That makes total sense because if it's built into the ground like that, I mean, a good example is when I lived in Michigan, we had a basement, and I actually, when I was younger, I actually lived in said basement because it was in the summer. It was significantly cooler in the summertime, and it was significantly warmer in the winter. Than well, not in the rest of the house because they had heating upstairs, but it was just one of those that it was nice because I kind of had like my own solitude, my own little space kind of thing. But long story short is especially in the summertime, it was actually nice to be in the home because again we didn't have air conditioning. So uh, let's see, Dave, are home solar panels common where you are? So depends on the area that you're in. So in my area that I'm in, it's not terribly common to see them, but I mean in Florida, it's certainly more common to see solar panels than say out where I lived in Michigan. Um, it's definitely one of those where solar is definitely uh, a bigger thing down here than say in the north because you're gonna collect more of the rays of the sun, down here than you are up north, kind of thing. But it's one of those where because solar panels are so bloody expensive, um, they're almost prohibitively so. And I think there's some programs out there, some governmental programs to where if you buy into them, you can get like discounts and whatnot. And I know that there's certain energy companies in the area where if you have solar, they'll do like an energy buyback program where if you produce more than what you're taking in, they basically backfeed it back to them, kind of thing, and to where they will then redistribute it out to the rest of the grid. And they have ways of being able to measure how much you put in versus how much you take out, kind of thing. Yeah, like it's certainly more common here than other parts of the country. And be one of those things that I think would be kind of cool, like if I could, get it onto my house, kind of thing. Because unfortunately, our power bill is ridiculous, um, and a lot of that's because of the home. It was built in the '70s, so it's very inefficient. Um, it's better now that we got the new air conditioner and whatnot, but it's certainly not the best. This one was going to the farm, was it not? Oh no, this is going to okay. This is going to 0 km. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Uh, Lowen, hi, I'm back. Hey, Lowen, how you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a good night so far. And MGL says, welcome back. And I say that too, welcome back. Like I said, hopefully you're having a good time, Lowen. Let's see if I remember right. Lowen, were you in, wasn't Sweden, was it? No, you were in South Africa, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's see. Uh, it's a good morning for me. Hey, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Anything in particular that's making it a good morning, or just starting off on the right foot kind of thing? Let's see. So, oh, I missed my turn. Oh well, we'll go around the long way. I'm doing more. See, again, talking and driving, reading and driving. Just please, 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 don't do what I do in the real world. If you're taking notes on how I drive, don't apply them to how you drive in the real world, because I would be in prison about a million times over if I drove the same way that I drive in this game in real life. Nope. Nope. Okay, cool, cool. It was South Africa. You know, I there are times where my memory is so bad I can't remember like certain things that are happening and like certain details. And then there's times where it's like I'll just pull it out just like I did there. It's like I remember you being like it's really early in the morning where you're at, and the last conversation that we had, it was like we like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was because of that where I was like, okay, I remember it was somewhere, and I almost said, was it Sweden? Was it? Like, it was somewhere in that kind of general time zone area, and it's like, oh no, wait. So I'm happy that I remembered that. That my mind isn't failing me too badly. Let's see. So, do I want to keep the corn, what I have as extra, or do I want to just sell it? You know what? Let's go ahead and keep whatever extra bit we get. So we're gonna keep an eye on the money and try and stop it as quickly as possible. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. 6,000 liters, nice. I will certainly take that. Nah, happens to me too. Don't worry. Well, I'm certainly glad I'm not the only one. Certainly glad. I tell you what, there are times where my memory gets so bad, and I'll be honest with you. I think it's sometimes my wife is just messing with me. Either she's messing with me, or she's thinking that she's telling me something and just doesn't, and then insists that she does. But there'll be times where she's like, she claims she's told me a thing, whatever that thing may be. Oh, hey, we're going to go in to see the family on such and such day, and she said she told me like 2 weeks ago, kind of thing. It's like, nah, I don't remember you telling me anything like that. But it's one of those where she tells me with such advanced time that it's quite possible that I don't remember, or that she did tell me. But then there's times where she's like, I just talked to you about this yesterday. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure you did? Because I don't remember that. It's like, I know I told you. I know it was at this time or this, It's like, that sounds like a conversation that I'm not sure actually happened. So it's one of those that, like I said, I don't know if she's just messing with me sometimes, or it's one of those she's just kind of covering herself, making sure that... There we go. Alright, well, both the contracts, 8,793 liters. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So let's move this over to the main. Because again, we're not using that production as an actual production site. That's, it's just a replacement because we were having all those issues with the bales. So I'm only using it as kind of a hay, basically any kind of grass, hay kind of storage. That's basically what it's turned into, is just storage. And now let's... Wait a minute. Oh, that's the other contract. So that's still chugging along. So we're going to unload this, and hopefully... Oh no, we still got that other little chunk right there. Oof. Oof. Just... I tell you what, potato contracts and sugar beets. Ooh. Because of all the undulations and the way that the land just kind of tips and moves and all that, there's some times where I can actually get to the downspout, or the well, we'll just call it downspout because I can't think of it the proper term. But there's times where I can get to it, and other times I can't. Okay, so move this here. We got one more load before we can move on from that. And we'll, let's see, borrow that. Perfect. Where's 26? Okay, that's not bad. So we're gonna hook this up. That. And then we're just gonna have the worker take the trailer, and then I'll drive the harvester. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and there's 26. Oh, this is the one where it's got a massive hill in it. If I remember right, there's a big, big hill. Oh, I wasn't sure if it was actually going to take it there or not, but I wanted to actually take it to the kind of open field, or the placeable area that's right next to the field, so it's not blocking the road. But hey, small victories, am I right? But oh man, I tell you what. So I was mentioning earlier how it was just kind of again, not a bad day, but just a rough day. One of those where just things kind of just one thing after another kind of thing. And I had mentioned earlier how just starting the stream, getting on here tonight, just kind of really relieved and just took a lot of weight off the shoulders. I tell you what, it's, and I know exactly why. I have so much fun doing this that I'm certain that, with very few exceptions, that if I were to come on here and just hang out and play the game, talk with you guys and whatnot, that it just lead to just being a good day by default kind of thing. Everything that's going on today and whatnot, you know, just all of a sudden just take a breath, decompress, and now we're just kind of relaxing and having fun and hanging out. So I'm just really, really glad that that we're all able to get out here tonight, that we're all able to hang out and just have a good time, because after today, I definitely needed it. Like I said, it wasn't that it was a bad day, and then certainly I'm not having nearly as bad of a day as my brother-in-law did. You know, like I said, he ended up breaking his scapula and 2 ribs, so he's definitely going to be having kind of a rough go at it for a little while, and I feel terrible for him. And this is the second time that he's kind of wrecked out and had really big wreck, where he's gotten really, really badly hurt. I mean, the first time when he had the concussion, like he doesn't remember things for several hours after the accident, kind of thing. So it's one of those low and how. So he rides bicycles, like the street style bicycles, the ones that you'll actually get going really, really fast. And today he ended up going out with a party of people, and he got behind somebody who was kind of swerving back and forth, and the road where they were at started to kind of get started to get a little rough, and the person was going to avoid some of the rough patch, while at the same time he was trying to avoid some of the rough patch, and they ended up, his front tire hit the back tire of the other person, so he kind of went end over end, and he ended up slamming onto the ground. And I guess as soon as he landed, he knew, he said he knew something was wrong. And yeah, he broke his collarbone and 2 ribs. So it's like, yeah, it's certainly you know when something's wrong like that kind of thing. Let's see. Hillbilly Farmer, sorry to be a party pooper, but it's getting really hard to stay awake. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Uh, I'm I'm tired of eating peanuts to stay awake. So good night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and see y'all next time. Hey, Hillbilly Farmer, thank you so much for stopping by tonight, hanging out with us. Greatly appreciate it. You have yourself a great night. Hope your 3 a.m. turns out to be a good one. Uh, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next time. Let's see. Lowen says my dad had a motorcycle. Oh my goodness. Uh, and then MGL says, good night, Hillbilly. Lowen says, broke his leg and hand. Oh, man. Well, thankfully, it was just that. You know, you get going on those motorcycles, and it can... That can be the end. Like, it's... Oof. You know, thankfully, everything's... You know, thankfully, it wasn't worse kind of thing. I actually... well, I got another story. I'll piggyback on that. Hillbilly Farmer. Thanks, Big Daddy Dave. Words are hard. Thanks, Big Daddy, for enjoyable entertainment. I'll be trying to make the next stream. Bye. Good night, MGL. Again, Hillbilly Farmer, greatly appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully you have a good night's sleep and have a good AM. Let's see, Lowen or collarbone. Let's see, and then MGL collarbone and ribs. Ouch. Yes. So I've never broken a collarbone or a rib. I've broken both my legs twice. It was specifically my ankles and feet, and I broke my thumb once. All when I was, back in school, kind of thing. And those were incredibly painful. But from what I understand, when you break a rib, it is one of the worst pains that you could ever experience. And the reason being is because there's no relief whatsoever. Every time you take a breath, it's pain. Every time you take every time you breathe out, pain. Every time you breathe in, pain. It is just non-stop pain. Collarbone, from what I understand, also sucks really bad because that's one that takes forever to heal. Because when that breaks, it's a very large supportive structure, and it doesn't heal as fast, as say a foot or an ankle or something like that. So it's one of those that he's definitely going to have a long road to recovery, but it's certainly again could have been worse kind of thing. So just glad that he's okay, and glad that everything kind of worked out the way it did. And he said that when he took the fall and he knew everything was happening, like he was conscious enough to be able to try and tumble his way through it, kind of thing. It didn't obviously work out the best, but he didn't end up smacking his head like he did last time, and he wears a helmet, kind of thing. So when I said that he smacked his head really good last time, he hit hard. He hit really hard. He ended up breaking the helmet. That's how hard he hit. So it's one of those that when everything was said and done, he was thankful that he had his helmet. And same thing today. He was thankful that he had all the safety stuff that he has on, and says that he won't ever go without it, kind of thing. Because now it's his second rack, and those things end up saving him. Why am I still backing up? Let's see. Broke my arm, my leg. Back was 2019. Wow. MGL broke a rib building this place. Oh wow, really? About a month off from having from my most heavy work. Hurts like hell. Yes. That's the way I understand it. Is if you have to cough, if you just have to breathe, it's just the worst. Because like I said, there's just no relief from it whatsoever. At least like when I broke my leg and broke both my legs and my hand, at least I could just put my leg up, or I could put my hand up, kind of thing. And it wasn't unless I was putting pressure on that part, and I broke both of the legs to in places where I was in walking cast, so I was just kind of with the boot kind of thing, a little cast kind of thing. So it was one of those where it was an inconvenience at worst kind of thing, and then the only time I experienced pain is when I was actually like exerting effort kind of thing. But I could walk and I was comfortable. I could use my hand, and unless I was like using my thumb in particular, because where I broke my hand was right in the joint, just above the joint of my thumb and my hand. So it was actually more of the thumb than anything. But yeah, it just I would have the relief of being able to just be able to relax. You break a rib, there is no relaxing. Like, he can't lay down, he can't, he's gonna have to sleep in his chair and all that stuff. So yeah, it's broken ribs, from what I understand, just are the worst. Let's see, Lowen says, my dad's crashed in 2019 too. Wow, so 2019 was not a good year for y'all. Sounds like you were glad to welcome in 2020. But like I said, I'm glad that your dad's okay, glad that you're okay. It just, ugh. I'm not a big motorcycle person, especially where I live here in Florida. I've said this many times on the stream before, but Florida is one of those states where it's a big hodgepodge of people from all over the country. So you get New Yorkers, Michiganders, Ohioans, you get Georgians and Carolinians, and you get people from all over the country coming down to Florida. And whether it's because they're on vacation, whether it's because they're relocating to Florida, here, especially here lately, Florida's been like the #1 state to move to, for many different reasons. But it's one of those where, because there's so many different people who live in this state, there's tons of different driving styles, there's tons of different whoop, 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 whoop. So the point that I've made in the past is, when I grew up in Michigan, there was a specific way that people in Michigan drive. When I lived in Georgia, again, there's a very specific way that people in Georgia drive that's distinctly different than the way people in Michigan drive, and so on and so forth. If you live in New York, you're going to drive a different style than anywhere else, so on and so on and so forth. And when I was out there in California back in 2000, I think it might have been like 2003, 2004. Actually, it might have been 2005. It was somewhere in that ballpark. Not important, the exact time frame. But when I was out in California, that was a whole nother kettle of fish. Because of the area I was in San Diego, and it was the first time I'd ever experienced a road where it was a 8-lane highway in one direction. So it was a 16-lane highway in both directions. It was the biggest highway I've ever been on in my entire life, and personally hated it. Absolutely hated it. Because when I was going home to, it was, I just moved to Florida at that time. And when I was going home to Florida, it was one of those that the traffic was so bad that it was bumper-to-bumper traffic. Motorcycles in that state are allowed to do what's called lane splitting, where you actually drive in between traffic. So if traffic stopped in front of you, you're allowed to go through traffic because you're a smaller vehicle than everybody else around you, kind of thing. So where am I going? What am I doing? Is this real life? We're just gonna cut through the fields. So yeah, when I was on my way back, and I had no idea at the time. I had no idea this was a thing. So I'm sitting there in traffic, and all of a sudden somebody comes flying past me at, I don't know, 30 miles an hour. They're I'm in dead stop traffic, and all of a sudden somebody drives past me on a motorcycle, going at speed, and it scared the life out of me. I'd never, because all of a sudden you're just sitting there at dead stop. You're kind of in your own little world, waiting for traffic to clear, and all of a sudden, somebody goes, hauling past you, and a lot of those, crotch rockets and stuff like that. They're so loud, like absurdly loud, that yeah, it startled me. It like genuinely scared me. And then all of a sudden, another one did it, and then another one did it, and another one did it, and then after I had gotten home to I did some research and realized, oh, this is a thing. Like, this is something that's actually allowed, kind of thing. Because I originally was mad, but yeah, one of those where wasn't too keen on it. Let me catch up with the chat and I'll continue with the story. Um, oh, Lowen, sorry to hear that you have to go. Hope you have yourself a good night, and we'll see you again next time. But so, like I was saying, the driving style here in Florida is distinctly different because it's a aggregation of all the different driving styles that are present all throughout the country, kind of thing. And you'll get them, and not only is it a mixture of driving styles, but we have a very old population here in Florida. It's a very big retirement state, so and there's no laws that are in place that says, well, after a certain age, you have to have regular checkups to make sure that you're still competent in driving. Make sure that your eyes are good or that your hearing's good. Things like that. So very oftentimes you'll hear things down here where you'll hear things where you'll have people driving through the front of businesses. They thought, oh, I thought I was in reverse, but instead I was in drive, or vice versa, kind of thing, and they just plow right through a business. You get younger people who tend to drive more aggressive down here, and again, it's just the aggregation of all the different factors that are available down here leads to a very chaotic driving situation. And I forget why I started telling the story, but yeah, it's just, why did I start talking about the driving around here? I started telling it to make a point about something else. See, that's the problem, is I start talking about one thing and then I get onto another and I came back to it and I can't remember why I started talking about it in the first place. Well, if it comes back to me, I'll try and finish the story. Let's see, MGL. I've ridden road motorbikes most of my adult life. You have to. Oh, that's okay. Thank you, MGL. That's why. Every other car, vehicles as likely as try to kill you at any point. Yeah. So that was what I was talking about, was the motorcycles. Yeah. So down here, it's so hazardous being on four wheels. But then you take those four wheels out of it, and that you're the smallest thing on the road. I don't trust people enough down here, to drive on even a good day, let alone on having little to no protection, like on a motorcycle. So it's just one of those that at the end of the day, it's not worth it to me, kind of thing. But I completely understand, people wanting to do that. Like if I still lived in Michigan, where I grew up, I could see, having the appeal of that. And perfect example, when I lived in Michigan, I used to drive a manual transmission vehicle. I would never, ever even consider driving a manual down here in Florida. The driving is so chaotic that it just wouldn't be worth the extra, either the extra savings and the gas, because typically, depending on how you drive, you can get much better gas mileage from a manual than you can from an automatic. because you can change your gear ratios better, and your driving style can then influence the amount of savings and all that stuff. So yeah, long story short, it's one of those where there's so many different factors where that are involved that I just, yeah, I couldn't drive a manual, couldn't ride a motorcycle down here, and I know plenty of people who do. I have had a friend way back when. He was a former Marine, um, real good guy, where that's all he would ride down here in Florida, rain or shine, was a crotch rocket, and that was the biggest thing. That was the one thing he wanted when he got out of the Marines. He desperately wanted a crotch rocket, and he rode that thing all over the place. And at the time, I had a pickup truck, so he would call me all the time saying, "Hey, you know, why don't you come down? Could you come pick me up? It's starting to rain. I don't feel, I should drive in the rain," kind of thing, because his particular bike had the motorcycle equivalent to slicks, for the rear tires. So his rear tire was always really squirrely, anytime the road was wet, kind of thing. It was basically like just a street tire kind of thing, and I think that's pretty common for most crotch rockets. I don't think it's too abnormal for crotch rockets to have anything else. I could be wrong about that. Again, I'm not a motorcycle expert or anything, but I would think that that's relatively common. Let's see. MGL says, yes, we lane split here as well. Not as easy with Harley. Oh yeah, I could imagine. The Harleys tend to be a lot wider in stance, so yeah, I could imagine that'd be a little bit bigger of a task. But yeah, then typically also when you get like a crotch rocket rider down, especially here, they tend to be younger, so they are far more brazen with taking risks and things like that. So down here, it's not uncommon to see a motorcycle rider, especially a crotch rocket rider. They'll be doing wheelies down the streets and down the highways and stuff like that. They'll be going 50, 60 miles an hour on one wheel, kind of thing. I literally was driving on the road, and it's a 3-lane road, and with businesses on either side of the highway, kind of thing. And I've had somebody literally pass me doing a wheelie at full speed, and the speed limit is 45 miles an hour, and I was maybe going 5 to 10 miles over the posted speed limit, and they went by me like I was standing still. So it's one of those where it's not uncommon to see, all sorts of really kind of goofy behaviors and risk-seeking behavior and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. Let's see. Try sharing the road with road trains. Prime mover with 3 trailers, often weighing over 120 plus tons, moving 100 Ks. Oh yes. So where I'm from in Michigan, it's one of the only states in the entire country where road trains are actually legal. Their laws up there are extremely relaxed, and unfortunately, and my father, he used to drive semis for a living way back when I was a young kid, like really young, and he would tell me stories about how when he worked for the construction crew that he worked for, and he was driving trains, where they would very often try and overload him to be able to, save trips and whatnot. And the rules and laws in Michigan for road trains are so lax in comparison to other states. And he'd be like, well, that's the reason that the roads are so bad in Michigan, where I'm from, is because all these massive trucks are already over most states' legal limits just by default, but then at the same time they're also over the legal limit because they're being overloaded. kind of thing. And it's not an uncommon practice for like, he would be overloaded all the time. He would get tickets all the time because he was overloaded, kind of thing. And it was just one of those, like, he had little to no control, because that's what the company he worked for at the time would do, kind of thing. They would just load him up until it was full. They didn't care about the weight, kind of thing. So he would get, the little fix-it tickets. That wouldn't affect his points or anything like that on his license, but he would get fined all the time. And he basically had a charge account with the company he worked for, saying, look, you're overloading me, you're paying these fines, kind of thing. And it was one of those that, thankfully, it was one of those that never showed up on his records and never showed up on, because it was a very common thing that he would be overloaded and that he would get pulled over, because they would look for any gravel train, kind of thing, because they would check the weight, but there was no repercussion to the weight being over, other than a fine, which the companies would pay it, because it was a minuscule fine, when everything was said and done. So, yeah, it was just one of those that some things out there just don't make any sense. when it's all when all the cards are on the table, just some things don't make no sense. Holy smokes. I cannot believe it. It's already 12 o'clock. It's midnight. I cannot believe it. Let's see. So we've got... This is almost full. 96%. Get this little chunk here, and then we'll go around and unload. Ooh. Unfold pipe. I don't want to unfold pipe. I want the pipe out. Just get this last little scrap here. Okay. Pipe out. Okay, that's the basket. Nope, doesn't look like I can get that any higher. Oh well. So we'll finish unloading this, and then we'll start the worker back up over there. Finish that little chunk up. Oh, there's a bit in that corner over there that I could get in there. Let's see. How big is it? Or is it just... Oh, okay. No, that's... I saw that big blue splotch in the corner there, and I'm like, oh, well, there's a big old chunk of... that this thing missed. Nope. Nope, not quite. Let's see. So let's let that get back to work. Let's see. Check something out here real quick. Okay. Oh, need to sit up and adjust. There we go. Nope, wrong way. That's 84%. So this is just about done. How's this field look? I'm actually rather surprised on how well the timing's worked out so far. Okay, yeah, so we're pretty much all caught up there. Let's go ahead. Oops, that was on. Excuse me, Mr. Harvester, you're missing out on a whole bunch of opportunity there. I hate to break it to you. No, get back here. Hey, no. No, bad harvester. Why am I going so slow? Why can't I keep going? Oh, it's I'm going uphill. Oh goodness, now I'm in the way. Oh dear. Reverse. Oh my goodness. Imagine. Uh-oh. Imagine if this was real life and there was like I'm driving the tractor and the harvester just sees me just pull an absolute abort like that. Imagine the conversation that that person would have in their heads. Like, what is that guy doing? Oh goodness gracious! And again, that's the kind of things I think of. Just gotta love it. Gotta love it. Let's go ahead and finish up this little chunk here. Ooh, that worked out nicely. Actually worked out really nicely. I'll take it. Alright, anybody out there can name the next line. It's a movie from... I think it was the 80s. Don't quote me on that. But, scene in it. I buy that for $1. Anybody can name that movie. Give your best guess in the chat here. Again, another movie I haven't seen for a very long time, but I don't know why. Like I used to really enjoy it growing up. It actually takes place in the state that I'm from. Oop, that little stalk right there. Close enough. Okay, so... Perfect. Come on. Come on. Dig deep, little Kubota. You got this. I think you can. I think you can. I think you can. Oh, we've got to get speed. Alright, well, we're at maximum. Oh. Oh. Oh my goodness. What is happening? Let's see. MGL, well, crew, it's cooled off a bit here now, so best get out and do a few jobs. Thanks for the enjoyable stream, and see you next time. MGL, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have yourself a good day. Hopefully, I hope all your jobs turn out well, and like I said, have a good one. Thanks for coming out. Let's see. So, like I said, where do we gotta take this one to? We'll just kind of let that chug in the background until we get up the hill. Okay, this is going to 0 km. Let's see. Come on. You can do it. Oh, it's a struggle. Snail mode engaged. So a friend of the channel, Forged TCG, informed me that in the army, when they would drive big trucks and whatnot out in rough conditions, that they trained them to jockey the wheels back and forth, kind of similar to this, especially when going up hills, and it would provide extra grip for the tires to kind of bite down into. Now, obviously, I don't think the game is gonna give two rips, but we're starting to get to the peak. Come on, little tractor, little Kubota, you can do it. You got the, oh dear. Oh, don't do it. Don't. Why? 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 Why would you do that? How do you miss the bright orange tractor that's right in front of you? I say that, but it's amazing what people just are completely oblivious to. Perfect example. Had to take my father's truck to the store, and it's one of those monster GMC diesel trucks. And I'm coming down the road and pulling into the parking lot at the local grocery store, and all of a sudden this person starts like coming out of not the parking space, but out of the lane for the parking spaces, like directly in front of me. And it was one of those, they looked at me eventually, and they like threw their hands up like they were apologizing, like waving and I'm sorry kind of thing. It's like, well, how do you miss this giant behemoth? It's a massive truck. It's one of the big 3500s, you know, so it's not small. It's not something that just popped up excuse me, popped out from nowhere kind of thing. All right, let's get this here. So should get 1,600, and we'll say about 1,500, give or take. Let's see. And there. Sold product, $24. Wow. That's a good one right there. Let's see. Dust Bunny says, good night, everybody. Can't seem to stay awake. Well, Dust Bunny, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. I hope you have yourself a great night. We are going to be winding down the stream here very, very soon. So hope you have a great night. Hope to see you again next time. I hope that things start going a little bit better for you with the build out, and you know, we'll definitely be keeping you in our thoughts and hoping that that things work out for you in the end. But have a good night, and we'll see you again soon. Let's see. So like I said, we're going to take this back to the farm. We're going to pay to have, or not pay, we're going to go ahead and store this, and we're going to figure out, we got to figure out something to do. We got corn. We got all sorts of product. Well, actually, do we still have all that product? I think we got rid of some of it. Now I say this, and now I'm not sure. I am not sure at all. Oh, we'll check when we get there. Let's see, so I'll take the almost a little over 1,400 liters, dump it in the silo here. I mean, between all the contracts just tonight, we probably got close to 10 grand worth of corn just from this. So that's not, I mean, nothing to sneeze at. Let's see. Oh, wow. 22,000? Okay. 24,000? That's definitely nothing to turn my nose up to. Let's see. Alright, well, I mean, they're still working. They're chugging along. Let's pull this over here. And now we're pretty much at the end of the contracts. There's really not much else after this, so yeah, we just need to finish this contract. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. Alright, so like I said, earlier I posed the question, name that movie line, and what movie did it come from specifically? Well, I made a reference to the line, I'd buy that for $1. Well, for those of us who are familiar with 80s, and uh, it was the movie, the original RoboCop. And there was a scene where it's showing a television set. It was a common running gag in that specific movie series where there was a guy on the television and he just kept shouting, "Oh, I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $1." So, yeah, that's again, it was a movie I haven't seen in so long, but such a good movie. And I'll tell you what, the remake of it actually held up. I was really surprised. In the world that we live now, where remakes are everywhere and reimaginings and all the kind of nonsense that comes out of Hollywood, um, that one was actually not that bad. It was not that bad at all. And what was that? Uh, Judge Dredd, the one from I think it was the '90s, might have been the '80s, late '80s, early '90s, I think, with Sylvester Stallone. That was a great movie. And then again, the remake was pretty good. It was not bad. I was again impressed. And again, it came from that kind of age where you know remakes were everywhere. Remakes and reimaginings. Remakes are okay in my opinion. Reimaginings not so much. Oh well, we gotta bring it up to 2020, or we gotta bring it to modern day standards, kind of thing. No, just leave it be. Just leave it alone. Quite often you will be a bad steward of the IP. Is my experience. Because oftentimes you don't. When you get people who want to do a reimagining of an intellectual property, oftentimes they are not interested in what the original source material or anything like that has to say or do anything about the story itself. It's let me push my message and then put it in the veil of whatever movie or TV or whatever that this is being cocooned in. So, one of those where, especially nowadays, it's very rare that I watch any kind of movies or anything like that, because oftentimes they're just not worth the time to invest in them anymore. Let's see. What was that? Nope. Making sure that I listen to Dust Bunny and staying hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated. Again, I know Dust Bunny, I know you're not out there anymore, but thank you again so much for stopping by tonight. And thank everybody. Thank everybody who stopped by, hung out tonight. I just greatly appreciate it. It really helped to boost my mood and made for a good night kind of thing. With everything that happened today, it was again not a bad day, just a busy day. Just a where you plan on your day to go one way and it just goes completely in the opposite direction. So it's one of those where you are kind of in, I don't want to say a sour mood, but you're kind of in the mood of, I had plans, I had wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and I can't do X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C, kind of thing. And again, it's one of those that I'm just glad that everything worked out the way it did. That my brother-in-law, that he's okay, as well as okay as he can be. He's definitely gonna have a long road to recovery, but just glad that everything kind of, in the grand scheme of things, things could have been a heck of a lot worse. Let's see, 97%. Let's get this tractor over here. That's going to fill up here pretty quickly. Ooh. And there we go. Okay. Perfect, perfect. We're just going to finish unloading this, and then we're going to let them continue. Shouldn't be too much longer, I don't think. Okay. There we go. Perfect. And they're chugging along again. So how much is this contract? 7,000? Yeah. It's one of those potatoes I really don't have a use for at the moment, and I don't know if my storage will actually do anything with them. So it might be something I just end up selling all the potatoes. Because, let's see. I don't think my biogas will take potatoes, will it? No, it'll take cut sugar beets. And that's chugging along pretty good too. Side slurry. You know what? While this is chugging along, let's see what we got here. Alright, well that's producing. That's doing exactly what we need to do, and this should be starting to store. I think this, oof. Alright, well we've got some goods that we need to sell. And let's see. It's got a pallet here that's okay. Well, it's still chugging through that. And 364 liters. That's again, it's chugging, but we could add, oh, you know what? There's some things that we could add to this. We could put in some TMR. Let's see, forage. We got that chaff. We could take the chaff from the main farm and put in here too and start producing. That is the one thing I really do like about this, is that it's for the most part 1-to-1. The only one that's not 1-to-1 is the grapes here, which you get, 3/4, 1 to 3/4. So you're not losing a ton of product. But everything here is 1-to-1. So 2 olive pomace to 2 compost. You got 2-to-2, but you're also introducing silage additive. 2 grass to 2 compost, 2-to-2, like so on and so forth. Like all these, like at the end of the day, let's see, 2,880. That's what, 5,600, 760. 5,760 liters per month for the chaff. Same thing with forage, so TMR. Chop beets, alfalfa. I mean, yeah, this production here is going to be a real good one right here. This is going to be a pretty big hitter for us. Especially because we're gonna do the alfalfa, we're gonna do the chaff. We're gonna do the chaff. So yeah, when everything's said and done, we'll be good. We'll be good when everything's said and done. Let's see. Let's go back. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. I guess we're the tortoise in this one. Slow and steady is going to win this race. check something else just real quick. Sheep are good. Wait a minute. Oh, it's taking the aggregate of all these. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. I was really confused there for a second there because I saw here under the animals that there was 1,500. I'm like, wait, is it full? Is it not spawning? And it's because it's taking the total that's already in here and is counting it towards what's in that listing there. Let's see, the brown Swiss here, full on water. Got 6,000, it's almost 7,000 liters of milk. About 40% reproduce, and about halfway, give or take, on food. And then chickens again are about halfway. So yeah, they're doing all right. It's, you know, certainly could be worse. Let's see, silage, hay, and a little bit of straw. Yeah, I mean, we could dump some more straw in with the cows. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's about a quarter full. So yeah, I mean, we still got some room to improve. We gotta certainly figure out some ways to get some straw and get some more product in our hands here. Let's see. So, oof, we're almost done. We're getting there. We're looking everything over, trying to make sure that everything's all good to go. We do have to figure out, oh, that's, yeah, we got to figure out the vineyard. Let's see. Wait a minute. The pH is the same. The pH didn't change. Why didn't the pH change? So apparently when I harvested it didn't change that. Huh. Okay. That's, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. That means I don't have to come back and fertilize and spray and do all that stuff. See, I still think there's something wrong with the grapes. I don't have anything to base that on, but I still think there's something going on with them. Like I said, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. We'll figure it out. Because unfortunately, I don't have anything to base that off of. It's just a feeling. It's just with everything that's been going on with this particular map, all the issues, all the kind of weird oddities and you know, just, I guess one of those I'd rather play it safe than sorry kind of moments. Oh, yep. See? There they are. I don't know what's going on and why. It just seems like randomly they'll all generate out here. Like, we drove through earlier and I definitively showed that there was nothing here. There was no sheep, no nothing. But they're out in the middle of a field. These are the sheep that are supposed to be at my farm. They're out in the middle of field 77. Don't know why. But when I was doing the Let's Play episode that released yesterday, I mean, there was a ton. There was every bit of like 10 of them out here, just kind of huddled around each other, hanging out in the middle of this field. So one of these days we're going to have to do like a sheep drive or something and just round up all the sheep and head them back to the farm. I don't know what the story is. All right, thinking one more pass after this one. Yeah, thinking that'll do it. One more pass. I will say, at least this field is not. It's laid out in such a ways to be somewhat worker friendly, even with that tree and stuff in the middle, like all taken into account. Like, what wouldn't be bad is if you could, like, buy this plot of land, rip out these 2 trees, and then just plow out this whole area, and then make it into one big field. Like, take all this out here. That'd be a cool little project to do. I think that'd be, like, really cool, because then you're, like, fully utilizing this whole space. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's that little plot right there is like kind of an eye catcher. It makes it look very nice, but it does take away from being able to kind of fully utilize the field. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe in a future episode we'll go ahead and buy this lot and improve it. Alright, so finally got all that harvesting done. Only took us 3 hours to get to this point. Go ahead and go past and there we go. See, so we'll go ahead and dump this in the trailer. There we go. Alright, so this is going over this way? Yes. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and dump out all this potatoes. I don't think there's a real need for me to hang on to them at the moment. I think that what money I do get out of them would be better served rather than just kind of hanging on to it for something later down the road, potentially. I mean, could even more... would even be even more likely I'd just be hanging on to it and then just never kind of utilize it, never do anything with it. That's honestly the more likely scenario than anything. I can't tell you the number of times where I'd be just kind of hanging on to product after product after product, just like, oh yes, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do, like, boom boom boom, I have all these plans to do, like, oh, I'm gonna take these potatoes, I'm gonna make french fries, or I'm gonna, you know, take these I don't know, I'm gonna take wheat and make barley, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna take wheat and make bread, and I'm gonna take barley and make chicken feed, and I'm gonna do this and do boom 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 boom, just come up with 10 different scenarios, and then I end up doing maybe 1 or 2, and then I end up either using them for other things, or I just end up selling them because I need the cash. So I think this one would be a good one where we can just kind of get ahead of it and be like, you know what, we're not gonna buy into too many different types of products, and be more kind of strategic and surgical about only dealing with one product and it have a specific purpose that we're going to do down the line, kind of thing. Otherwise, we're best served with just having the cash. Especially because we're still building, we're still trying to improve the farm, improve my friend's farm, you know, doing all that stuff to kind of make sure that everything kind of falls into place. go. All right, let's see what we get here. There we go. No, 2,538. Ouch. And then 6,000. So you're talking maybe 9.5 grand. Yeah. Not the greatest of payouts, but it did the job. We got something for it. Let's see. Let me just double check around here. Make sure there's nothing else that needs to be done before we kind of sign out for the day. I do need to do something with this chaff, and I'm likely going to take it out of the bunker. It's not that much. I mean, we probably got a scoop, maybe 2, and that's all taken care of. But I think this will be a good place to leave the episode. Thank you all so much for joining me, or the live stream. That's what the words were supposed to be. Don't tell me anything different. Anyways, I think that's where we're going to leave the stream for tonight. I hope everybody who came out tonight enjoyed it. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things. The algorithms enjoy you doing it. Shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope every single one of you has a... Oh no, Deco! Too late again. I'm sorry, bud. Yeah, it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning my time, and yeah, I'm sorry that we weren't on later. But anyways, I hope everybody out there has a fantastic night, day, evening, wherever you are in the world. I just hope it's a great one. Take care.